Hi, hey, hello, welcome back. We have Bitcoin finally breaking above 97,000. This is a good new high that we are seeing after a very long time of not seeing it, right? Last time we were at this level was approximately over here, 22nd of February. It's been a while. We're in May. May 1st, new month. It's happening. May 1st, blast off was supposed to be on this day originally from the M2 money supply chart that I saw, with about a 108-day offset. But since then, I think we have changed, we've evolved. We've modified that to be something like 80 days, 84 days, whatever it is now. But either way, it doesn't matter whatever offset you put on it, you're going to see Bitcoin, as long as it correlates as much as possible, it's going to be headed toward the upside all the way from here through to maybe July, August is what it's projecting so far. So it looks great. The future of Bitcoin. We've got a lot of bullish news. And yeah, things we're going to talk about here. Catalysts that will continue to improve the price of Bitcoins. And of course, altcoins should follow with it. It's a very green day, looks like today, so it's not too bad. Bitcoin's current price 97,000 flat and up 2.74%. So we managed to break out from this resistance 96,000. Can we continue going higher? Yes, we absolutely can. Till where? 98,300. Why? First resistance is there from the pivots, and we're not considered overbought yet. This parabolic rise of the super trend also indicates, it just further reinforces the fact that yes, we are indeed in an uptrend. And this trend line that I have drawn is the one that's defining this current movement, right? So for now, I don't see any reversals going to happen. Be careful with shorting if you're planning with shorting. I would recommend otherwise. Although I don't give any recommendations on this channel. You should do your own research, etc. But you get the point, right? It's dangerous to be shorting right now because I think we could easily hit that 98,300. And I mean, honestly, 100,000 is not even a challenge anymore. It's very, very close. I feel like we might even hit it by the end of this week. By that, I mean tomorrow, Friday, because we will be getting some economic data. We did get some yesterday. We got some today. It wasn't that relevant. Mainly it was ISM manufacturing PMI data for April. We expected 48. We came in right above expectations. It was previously 49. I'm assuming that's good. And the prices came in a little bit less. I'm assuming that's associated with inflationary data, right? Cost still rising. Okay, well, I don't know what that means, but yeah, that's one of the economic data that we got. And of course, jobless claims as well came in little bit higher than expectations, and I don't think that's a good thing, right? Jobless claims, maybe that's a good thing in terms of reducing the chance of maintaining rates where they are. Higher chance of getting a rate cut is what I mean. That's also to be expected by next month. Yeah, this percentage dropped a little bit. It was 97% just yesterday. It's not too much, but the bad economic data means a good thing, right? Reduces the strength of the US dollar. There's more people that are jobless, apparently, is what that means. So, we got to get something done in terms of the economy, right? To help improve that, get more people hired. So what will be important as well tomorrow is the non-farm payrolls and unemployment rate. It was previously at 4.2%. We're expecting it to stay at 4.2%, although with this tariff stuff, if what Donald Trump is doing on paper works, then we should be seeing less people unemployed. Although 4% unemployment is, I think, roughly what the Fed likes to keep it at, approximately. Because there are always going to be some percentage of unemployed people due to vast circumstances. So that's always going to be there. It's not like tariffs is going to bring in millions of jobs and nobody's going to be unemployed. No, that's not going to be the case. There's going to always be people unemployed, right? For various reasons. So if we do see a reduction of this, I think it would mean that Trump's tariffs are indeed working. Probably would also help the Fed, incentivize them to cut rates as well. Likely for the next meeting. It's pretty clear for this meeting with that 95% chance we will not be getting a rate cut. markets have already priced that in. We're now just expecting, with this economic data, trying to predict what Jerome Powell will say in terms of future rate cuts, if we will be getting any, which it's very likely that we will, because according to also the aggregated information that we're seeing for the next meetings, it's a 62% chance we see a rate cut in the next meeting, which would be in June 18. The meeting after is what I mean. And overall, it's looking 1, 2, 3, 4 rate cuts for this year. That's 1 full basis point. It's not only the CME FedWatch that is projecting that, but it is also a lot of banks and institutions also projecting a similar kind of deal. So that's a good outlook nonetheless. We'll wait and see what we get from the economic data there. Just wanted to point that out before we continue talking over here. Slightly under 97,000, again, 96,900 for Bitcoin. Still looking good. Like, I'm happy with where it is. And let's have a look at the altcoins. Ethereum above 1,800 finally as well. That's a good thing. Highest point we reached was 1,872. We're looking to break 1,920 as the first resistance, and then psychological resistance at 2,000, right? All this is all clumped up. I have to find a more precise area, although it seems like the 2,000 for sure would have to be one of the resistances. Coincides with Fibonacci level here. I have one resistance too from pivots, and also I have a couple of lines I could draw here. I don't know, it seems like Ethereum's got a lot of resistances to break, including a downtrend. Do we have a longer term downtrend? No, that is the longer term downtrend. We broke the smaller term, steeper downtrend. Now it's looking like we have this, you know, perfect triangle. What do you call it? Isosceles triangle, isometric, whatever. You get the point. This is bound to break very soon. I see a great breakout for Ethereum. Things are kind of looking up, and we probably can still get in here a little bit early, in my opinion. My view for things are toward the upside from here on out for the next couple of months. Great. Let's look at Solana. 150 for Solana. That's great. Highest point today was 153. And it is up 1.73% as well. I readjusted this here yesterday, so this further confirms the uptrend. Yes, it is still working. It is still going up. Super trend is also continuing higher, so that's a good thing as well. Resistance that we can meet up, according to pivots, is 159. Fibonacci points to 170 approximately, according with the other one. I could agree with the 159, 160. We'll call it a psychological level. Why? Because we saw support over here. So 160, I would say, is a great first resistance. Matter of fact, I will draw it, because I feel like it might be actually useful. 160 is what we're looking for. $10 away from that, so we still got plenty of room to grow for Solana. This can absolutely happen in a day. No big deal. We'll see if tomorrow would be the catalyst to push us higher up to there. SUI is at 353. Has not rised as much as the rest. There's still a lot of stuff going on with SUI, which is overall good. I'll be talking about it later on. Currently at this level of Fibonacci 354, 353, 0.22% movement upward today. Highest point we reached was 376. Highest point ever since our recovery here is 387, which we reached 3 days ago, April 28. Looking for that $4 zone. It's looking great. It's looking great. To reach that $4 zone is about a 12% pump, which SUI can absolutely do that in one day as well. If we get Bitcoin rising to at least 98,000, I think this can easily happen for SUI. $4. Or maybe SUI $4 could be the equivalent of Bitcoin 100,000. That could also just be the case, depending on, you know, momentum indicators, depending on what kind of economic data we get tomorrow. Of course, I'm just probably kind of getting ahead of myself over here, but yeah, that's what we can determine from this. XRP, $2.21. Unlike SUI, we are a whole $1.50 lower. Is that a half? I don't even know. Well, 25 cents, $1.25 lower than that. Still got a lot of room to rise up for XRP. Have we broken our downtrend? I have not even drawn one ever since the highs over here. So I'm going to try doing that. I think a weekly chart is too harsh. Let me go to a daily chart. All right, here we are. Fibonacci is up to par, so let's draw this downtrend. I want to see where we would be expecting it here. This makes a bit more sense. This is a monthly pivot, by the way. 250, 247. I call it 250. 250 seems a little more reasonable here. Would be one of the first resistances that XRP would have to break out of in order to confirm its uptrend, breaking all possible downtrends. I hate this massive volatility spike, and this one was due to the crypto reserve announcement, and it happened with XRP and Cardano, really. Solana, not too much. They had massive spike in prices on that day, so it just further prolongs the downtrend. Although for XRP, it kind of does make sense, you know, taking in consideration another day as well over here. So it's not too bad as expected. And it seems like a decent outlook over here, coinciding with this resistance at 250. That's the first level that we're going to have to confirm. XRP, if it breaks out, will be able to ensure that the uptrend is there. Higher we'll be going from there. For now, the first resistance would have to be 230 approximately, which we're getting there. It's currently at 221. Maybe by tomorrow we could reach that. A 4% pump for XRP seems reasonable by tomorrow. That could absolutely happen. Let me go to Litecoin. 6.21% up today. That is pretty good, and it's probably the only altcoin that is doing this kind of a movement today. Surprise movement from Litecoin. I readjusted the uptrend right over here, and from there we've just bounced upward, which is quite perfect actually. Going from a low of 81 to a high of 90 today. That's where we slowed down right over here at the first resistance. Kind of bouncing off of it for a moment, seeing some rejection here, but pushing our way upward again toward it. Current price $89.84. After we break 90, I think we could slow down a bit at 92. Litecoin typically is a bit of a slower coin, but when it moves, it moves. Something like this, a 6% pump just out of the blue, it can happen, right? I wonder why. I do want to check if there is any news for... Why did I click on Cardano? I'm looking for Litecoin. Here. Number 22. Oh, number 20. What? Number 22 or number 20? Which one is it? Anyway. Litecoin news. Oh, there you go. ETF announcement. Again, it happened again. This is the same reason why Litecoin was pumping back in February, March, if I'm not mistaken. Like when we were at 140. When was this? Everything else was dropping in February, except for Litecoin. Litecoin was making new highs, yearly highs, right? Right over here, 21st of February. Like if you look at 22nd of February, every altcoin is down. 2nd of February, every altcoin was also down. Although, yeah, Litecoin had its first drop 2nd of February. But from there, we were getting some optimism back into Litecoin because of the fact that we were going to get a spot ETF approval. It was like a high percent chance, like a 90% chance that Litecoin would be the next ETF approved cryptocurrency, right? And now that has come back. Litecoin surges 7%. 6% is what it shows me. Similar deal. Securities Exchange Commission likely to approve spot ETF with 90% odds. All right, fine. I'll read your article. Okay, that's it. Oh, here's the full article at CoinDesk. I don't know if I'm going to read all this. Also, my eyeballs are burning, so let me force dark page. Get out of here. Give me cookies. I accepted cookies. Bullish reversal pattern forms as Litecoin reclaims critical $86 level amid increasing institutional interest. Bloomberg analysts now place 90% odds on the SEC approving a spot Litecoin ETF. They experienced price volatility trading between $81 to $88 range with strong support established at $84 following April 30th sell-off. Do I have that too? Does institutional analysis combine with mine? Yeah, kind of. I do have a pivot level there and uptrend with Fibonacci bouncing off of that area over here. Reaching, well, theirs is a bit outdated, right? They said 88. I'm blind. Yes, $88 range. Bitcoin's rally toward 100,000 also, triggering increased buying activity for Litecoin, though bearish pressure remains as Litecoin struggles to maintain momentum above the $85 level. That could probably change though. If we go back down there, but we don't drop below it, it means that we're finding liquidity at that level and we could absolutely go higher. Okay, this is all just a bunch of TA, so you can read that if you would like. Let's move on to Cardano. Cardano is still decent movement, 3% up today. We passed 70. We're at 71 cents. What really matters though is 75. Then it's 81, 82 approximately for Cardano's levels that I have at least. Similar deal, we adjusted our uptrend over here. Still looks like it maintains itself well. Now we just have to confirm if we're able to reach this kind of level up here. Based off of our current price today, Cardano would require a 6% price increase if tomorrow is the day that things do rise. I'm just giving you a scenario if things do rise. If things do drop, we could, I haven't given you that scenario yet, have I? A drop would be bringing us back down towards our uptrend. I don't think we're going to drop too low, because most of it, like, the drop from yesterday is something that we should experience similarly. If non-farm payroll and unemployment data comes in horrible, however the market takes horrible, right? Then, yeah, we can see a drop that would lead us toward our uptrend, but I think we would still maintain it, possibly like readjusting it, but it's still going to maintain an uptrend nonetheless. Just look out for super trend levels to ensure where those uptrends are either validated or invalidated. If you're using 5 and 5 super trend, at least in a 4-hour chart, seems to work out best for me. It's my favorite way of looking at it for price action analysis. Bitcoin, 97,000, almost 100. Did we reach 100? Yeah, 126. Highest point of today was 97,388. I think we could get there by tonight. And who knows, maybe Asia market wakes up, sees all this optimism, and starts buying as well. It could take us directly to 98,000. Maybe a bit prematurely, I don't know. Hey, if it does, that's better as well. And then if we get non-farm payroll data that is good, it's literally less than a 2% increase for Bitcoin to reach 100,000. From that first resistance of 98,000 if we do reach that by tonight. Maybe I'm being a little bit overly optimistic. I do kind of want to see Bitcoin above 100,000 again, but from here, from where we are right now to 100,000, that is literally a 3% price increase. It absolutely can be done. We need fundamentals? Sure. What fundamentals will be coming? Non-farm payroll. That'll be important. So yeah, really can't wait for tomorrow. I sound very unenthusiastic, do I? Anyway, let's move on to some news. This is also part of the reason why things have been rising today, although it's kind of been on and off, and we kind of know that, is the fact that China says that they're evaluating the possibility of trade talks with the United States. They're saying yes, they're saying no, they're saying, oh, China, like, well, the United States says China needs to negotiate with us. They can't survive with these tariffs. We know that. And then China's like, well, you know, United States is being a bully, or, you know, United States will say, yeah, our talks are going great. And then China would be like, no, actually, we haven't even talked. But now apparently there's a bit of confirmation from China saying that they're evaluating the possibility of trade talks with the United States. Did they yet? No, not really. So still waiting for any confirmation. But it's, yeah, it's practically back and forth every day. So take that with a grain of salt. But it's still good nonetheless. If you're wondering 2028 who might be running for president, maybe Tulsi Gabbard, and I would endorse that fully. Next, we have Institution of Peace. Didn't even know this government department existed. The Department of Government Efficiency with Elon Musk and this guy. What is this guy's name? I forgot his name. Anyways, they started reviewing them, auditing them is what they say, and found out that this Institute of Peace was actually funding the Taliban, both economically and militarily, right? Giving them a bunch of weapons and all that kind of stuff. And there's still more to it, because when Doge entered to dig through their files, their accountant, apparently, at the Institution of Peace, deleted 1 terabyte of records. What are they hiding, right? So maybe some arrests will get made. Who knows? They're still investigating this stuff. Man, Elon Musk has put up a great team of like all these young individuals to help audit these government departments. Yeah, it's great. It's cool. Speaking of Elon Musk, yeah, I'll talk about this here. Tesla stock yesterday. This happened yesterday night. right after my stream. Well, this happened after I started streaming, so I couldn't see it live, or else I would have covered it yesterday. Tesla stock falls over 4% in overnight trading as the Washington Street Journal reports that the company's board has begun a search for a CEO to succeed Elon Musk. So this is a bit it's a bit controversial. Market did not like it, obviously. We do want to keep Elon Musk, the richest man on world, to be the CEO of this company where your money is in, right? So what had happened here essentially was that, okay, it's likely, they were saying it was likely fake news because that percentage increased in Polymarket, right? That Elon Musk would be leaving Tesla as a CEO. But it's technically supposed to work the opposite. Okay, and I'll explain why. Because of all the Tesla riots and protests that have been going on, because this all stems from Elon Musk working at Doge instead of providing some of his attention to Tesla. Tesla stock did drop, and I covered it previously, like a 50% drop from $400 to $200, something like that. And then there was a bit of optimism back in Tesla stock after Elon Musk says, well, he was initially considering quitting Doge and going full-time CEO on Tesla, right? To help his stock recover. And the market liked that. But it turns out, no, that was fake news. And then it went back to where it was, back to 200 something, low 200s. But then later on, Elon Musk said, you know what? It's kind of true. I will slow down my efforts on Doge, Department of Government Efficiency, and focus more of my time on Tesla again. And since then, Tesla has been rising because we like that. We like Elon Musk coming back to save his own stock, right? Brings back more confidence. Tesla is a large company. It will be a huge company in the future. It's got a lot of potential still. I think it's still very undervalued. Not very undervalued, but fairly undervalued. 270 is still relatively high. I got it for like 220 something, I think. Let me find my purchase. Tesla. 217. Wow, that is right on the bullseye entrance here. I'm not selling yet. I'm keeping that there for a very long time. I also made another mistaken purchase over here, but it's whatever. Still got a long way to go for Tesla. And yeah, so markets like that. But what they don't like is when suddenly Tesla CEO, Elon Musk says, I'm just quitting Tesla entirely. We're looking for a new CEO to take over Tesla. The market does not like that at all. And it turns out, indeed, as Polymarket suggests over here, it was fake news. 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time last night, Washington Street Journal decided to report that Tesla had begun a search for a CEO to succeed Elon Musk. People were saying, okay, this is probably fake news. It would likely be denied. And then at 1 a.m., Tesla responded, stating that the report is absolutely false. 15 minutes later, still at 1 a.m., Elon Musk says that there was an unequivocal denial beforehand by the Tesla board. The worst part was that Washington Street Journal's source was according to people familiar with the discussions. So why would they report a market-moving headline on the 9th largest public company in the world after the board itself explicitly denied it? Was this a personal attack on Elon Musk by Washington Street Journal? So, yeah, even Elon Musk saying, like, exactly what? This does not make any sense. All right, well, we're safe for now. Nothing is going to change with Tesla. Elon Musk will stay CEO, and he will, I'm assuming, keep his promise of putting more time and effort into Tesla as well to help it recover from where it is. Less time in Doge, more time in Tesla. That's kind of what Tesla investors do want. So from there, I haven't even looked. I just closed the chart, but Tesla has been recovering, I assume. It's down 0%. This would have been, yeah, yesterday it dropped to over here. We've recovered in the morning, and then currently dropping a little bit. Probably just regular market sell-off. Rest of assets are also a little bit down. We did get some earnings as well that I do want to have a look at. Earnings for stock market specifically. Today's Thursday, so we had Amazon and Apple among the biggest. You got other companies that you probably heard of and recognize as well. I'm pretty sure you've eaten at McDonald's once before. There's MasterCard, CVS Health, Roblox, Eli Lilly Company, Riot Blockchain, Airbnb, Reddit. Yeah, and then tomorrow we haven't got nothing too major, except if you care about oil, gas, and Wendy's. Maybe. So let's have a look. I didn't even know what Amazon and Apple reported. I'm hoping it's good. Amazon doesn't look too good. Okay, they had good earnings, but I'm assuming projections for the future are not that great. Probably due to the tariff stuff as well. That's what you got for Amazon and Apple. Also, similar deal, right? Most companies will use the excuse of tariffs to reduce their expectations for the upcoming quarters this year. That's the kind of narrative that we're expecting from everything here. Great. Specifically Apple, for example, saying that tariffs will cost the company $900 million this quarter, so they're just reducing their expectations. It's like 15 iPhones. Nvidia as well. This is good news. Jensen Huang went up when spoke with Donald Trump live at a press conference thing. They said that they would be adding an okay, no, this is a different news. They just said something that they would be investing in the United States, bringing more jobs, all that kind of stuff. And this is something separate. This is a rumor, so it's not confirmed. They will likely add an undisclosed amount of Bitcoin to their balance sheet for stability. Maybe Nvidia considering investing in Bitcoin. This is one of the biggest companies in the world, if not the biggest. Was at some point. I'm pretty sure right now it's probably something Microsoft or Apple. Probably Apple. I could check right now. What am I doing? Company's market cap. This is like coin market cap, but for companies. Yeah, Apple's biggest company right now. Nvidia's third place. Not too bad. Where's Tesla? Number 10. Broadcom has taken over Tesla there. Wow. And Eli Lilly is also big as well. They reported earnings. Cool. If this does come true, man, institutional adoption, it's gonna happen, right? Sooner or later. Hopefully later. Actually, no, hopefully sooner. Just make me money now. That's all I really care about. That's why we're here. If you're in the futures market, you're just here to make money. If you're in the spot market, you're there to hold on to things for a very long time. You trust in the fundamentals of cryptocurrency. Stuff like this. Eric Trump says the SWIFT system is broken and it's going to be replaced by cryptocurrency. The SWIFT system being, to make international payments. I've used it, for like buying houses or whatever. You have to send large amounts of money from bank to bank internationally. You have to use a SWIFT, right? But it can take some time. There's some limits. There's some fees, all that kind of stuff. With cryptocurrency, most of that would be resolved. I think the best blockchain out there right now is probably SUI. Michael Saylor's strategy is also planning to raise another $84 billion to purchase more Bitcoin. How much money is, how many Bitcoins is that? 84, okay. 1,000 million billion. If each Bitcoin costs $100,000, you're buying 840,000 Bitcoins? Wow, Michael. The guy has 500,000 right now. He's planning to buy even more than what he has. Where's he going to raise $84 billion from? This guy's crazy. But if he does, he'll have more. Guaranteed, he will have more. He'll be the number one Bitcoin holder. He'll have more than Satoshi. Satoshi has 1 million Bitcoins. US has 200,000. Michael Saylor right now has like 500,000. If he buys 840,000 more, that's 1,340,000 Bitcoins. Yeah. This guy's going to be the richest man in the world. If he does manage to do that. I don't even know. 84 billion though. I feel like that's way too much. We're like Elon Musk's net worth was 400 billion I say, because Tesla stock dropped. It's now like 300 billion, I'm assuming. Anyway, who knows how he's going to do that. 21 shares files for a SUI ETF. SUI ETF will be coming. I think it's more than deserved. It absolutely should be coming, and I'd be happy if it does. Deserved. SUI has not moved based off of this news, however. To be honest, it's probably kind of exhausted from being overbought for such a long time over here. This is due to possible Pokemon partnership. There's a lot of stuff going on with SUI. Bitcoin L2 Stacks. Stacks is Bitcoin L2. They're partnering up with SUI Network to create a one-to-one Bitcoin-backed SBTC that will be coming to SUI. Does this even exist yet? SUI Bitcoin. Launch of SBTC. Withdrawal functionality on Stacks marks a major step forward in Bitcoin's evolution. So what this will technically allow you to do, I'm assuming, is buy Bitcoin or use Bitcoin to do transactions to send whatever, but with SUI's blockchain instead. It's like wrapped Bitcoin, but instead of Ethereum, it's for SUI, right? Marks a major step forward in Bitcoin's evolution. Users will seamlessly and trustlessly move Bitcoin between Bitcoin Layer 1 and Layer 2, making SBTC the most decentralized way to use Bitcoin and DeFi. That's also true. Yep. Now taps into decentralized, secure, programmable Bitcoin asset. Stacks and SBTC are fueling Bitcoin's economy with growth. What's the next big move? Okay. Yep. That's all we have for that kind of news. There's also SUI going past $200 million in Bitcoin total value locked. So just further proves that partnership will absolutely be happening. That's not too bad. Reebok rocks this as well over here. The X post says that this is announced during the SUI Basecamp. We'll be talking about SUI Basecamp event in Dubai today, highlighting their growing role in Bitcoin DeFi. BTC-Fi on SUI allows Bitcoin holders to earn yield, trade, and lend without selling, addressing Bitcoin's limitations like slow transactions or lack of smart contract functionality, as explained on SUI's website. So yeah, you're using SUI's blockchain for all this, which is much better. DeFi Llama, a TVL aggregator, tracks such metrics across blockchains, showing SUI's rise among competitors like Ethereum, Solana, with this milestone reflecting increased adoption of SUI's high-performance, low-cost DeFi ecosystem. That is great. I think SUI's the best, honestly. Here's part of what was going on at SUI Basecamp. Day 1 happened today. Major launches to packed panels. Energy in Dubai was unreal. There's new products dropping, partners bringing in exclusives, builders from every corner of the world showing up. Yeah, it looks really cool, really fun. SBTC from Stacks is coming soon to SUI, we know this. SUI's enterprise ready. SUI ETF by 21 shares is coming soon. A lot of good stuff happening with SUI. Walrus Protocol is there. Gaming is also there. Hands-on demo of the SUI Play 0x1. This was announced before as well, and I covered it a couple months ago. They actually gave a live view of their new handheld gaming device. That'll be insane, honestly. Yeah, cool. That's all I have for SUI, and I do want to talk about a bit about Canada as well. This is like a clearly good visualization of the election results, right? It seems like, you know, Conservative have covered a large landmass, right? But if you just take all of it's mainly in the cities, right, that they have more seats, and Liberals won most of those seats. That's why they have won the election here, but not enough to make a majority government. So this is just a comparison between everything. Look how blue BC and Alberta is, parts of Saskatchewan, Manitoba as well. Now there's this whole thing of, okay, it's now the west side of Canada versus the east side of Canada. East side is woke and bad. West side is conservative good. That's the kind of thing that's going on right now. And I mean, there's actually a lot of people, Canadians, looking into how to relocate into the US following the results of this week's federal election. I'm not gonna lie, I think that is probably the better move here. Moving to the US, like, what's the downside? Really, what's the downside? You're gonna get a better economy, better dollar. Tariffs will work long term. Things will be a little cheaper. You'll have probably more rights, honestly. Freedom of speech, freedom of what is the Second Amendment? To own arms. First Amendment, freedom of speech. You just got to learn the American national anthem. I've been to the U.S. a couple times. It's fine. It's not too bad. Great government. You got a President Donald Trump. Like, come on. For me, it's either I go stay in Canada or go to Ecuador. But honestly, both countries, I don't like the governments. So I do like U.S. government, probably. So that I agree with that. Maybe moving to the U.S. is the move. Or Alberta if they do this whole separation thing. Danielle Smith, Premier of Alberta, says that they are serious about separation after this Liberal win. Well, she did congratulate Mark Carney, first of all, and says, okay, we really need to work on, you know, our partnership, on our relationship, or the deal, everything to, you know, if you don't want us separating from Canada, right? It seems like if there is any division between Canada, any separation, it would be people in the Conservatives movement staying with Alberta and whatever they can drag with them. And it's likely just going to be the west side, right? Versus the east side of Canada, where it seems to be overwhelmingly liberal, according to what we saw with the Atlantic provinces and all that. So we shall see. And Canada can keep the territories as well. I say Canada like we're leaving them. Albertans, what would we call it? Republic of Alberta. Maybe Alberta is the 51st state. It would look weird with the border, just this huge lump of land suddenly hooked across the top, right? Yeah, I don't know. It'll be weird, but we'll see. I think the main problem with this was the boomers, though, during the election. Here's like the breakdown by the age group of people who voted. It's obvious. The younger people wanted conservative government. 18 to 54 years old, you're voting conservative, you're most likely. But if you're 55 plus, look at the overwhelming amount of liberal votes for that. Some voted conservative, so I guess good for them. And there was some tightness around, you know, conservative and liberal for the younger generation as well, but it was still majority conservative here. Because the narrative of conservative, I explained it before, conservative you would vote for if you want, you know, lower housing costs and all that stuff. Liberals, they just care about, oh, Donald Trump bad, and I don't care about housing costs because I already paid off my house and I want my house price to rise, actually. So screw the rest of the generations, right? It kind of feels like that, right? Anyways, I don't want to cope too hard on this, so I'll move on from it. We'll talk about one of Mark Carney's first policies that was announced, which this is actually pretty okay, sure. But at what cost? We're expanding the dental care plan from Canada. Starting today, Canadians aged 55 to 64 can now apply. I have to tell my dad about this. In the coming weeks, applications will open to Canadians aged 18 to 54. Because of this plan, millions of people can now afford to see a dentist, some for the first time in decades. Soon, millions more will get that same care. That's great, but at what cost is what everybody's asking in the comments, right? Still, nonetheless, decent. Starting today, more dental care plan. Cool. One of the policies, though, that I really disagree with is this whole net zero environmental climate change thing. I mentioned it before, and this guy's very close with people like Greta Thunberg and all that. It's cringe. He says that he wants to restrict your ability to travel by plane by hiking up taxes on air travel. It's just going to make things worse for traveling, honestly. Planes are already too expensive, and there's already a carbon emission cost, I'm pretty sure, that shows up on the airlines, some of them. Despite jet setting around the world in private jets himself, he says that kind of stuff. He says that we should be taking into account the impact of our flying on the planet. No. There's going to be flying everywhere anyway, so it doesn't really matter, in my opinion. You push up the tax on flying, you push up the cost on transport, and that's in part what putting a price on carbon is. I just disagree with this entirely. Like, come on. Let me pollute the earth once in a while. I don't even fly that much, honestly. But yeah, this guy always flying in private jets. Net zero for you, private jet for me. Literally, that's what it is. This is communism. Anyway. Oh man, SUI is dropping. 349. Bitcoin's also dropping. 96,700. It's just a small correction. We're fine. I'm still confident tomorrow. Hopefully we'll be at this level or higher. 98,300. That's what I'm looking at. All right. That's all I had to cover for today. I already explained tomorrow. We're expecting that non-farm payroll data. Tomorrow is the big day. We'll see what happens tomorrow. I'm willing to cover that. All right. Great. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like and subscribe. See you tomorrow.